Hello there, just in from snowblowing the latest Maine snowstorm here with my Kubota B7800 and my Frontier SB1164 snowblower. Just recently added this cab and to the tractor, and of course with the addition of the cab and the rear curtain, it makes rotating the chute on the snowblower a little bit difficult with the handle. So I went online to search other people's applications and solutions for rotating the chute. I didn't want to invest in the aftermarket one that Frontier makes, but I found one online that was done by James V. He had a Kubota snowblower that's similar to this SB1164. So I used some of his information, and here we go. So basically, the first step was to remove the hand crank that goes down to the auger here that rotates the chute. I went online and bought the motor that he recommended. It's a 12-volt worm drive, 150 RPMs. Once I removed the crank and removed the universal, it goes into the screw here. I mounted the motor temporarily. Tried to figure out the right angle. Basically, I used a 7/16 bolt here that goes through the center of the motor, through the gearing of it, and into the screw here. That allowed me to establish the right angle that I needed. Once I established the right angle, I took some steel flat stock 2 inches wide and bent up this piece of metal. You can see I bent it up and got the right angle. It matches the bolt pattern here. I cut a gusset to go in here, welded that up, and on the bottom of it, I drilled a couple holes for the existing bolts that go down through the bottom of this to hold this auger, the screw mechanism on. I also had to notch out right in here to, I guess I need to tighten that. Notch this out anyway, and it sort of made pretty much a simple mounting method. I didn't want to have to modify anything here. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible, and basically using this flat stock does keep it very simple. It mounts right on the top of this mounting bracket here, as you can see. So it's a pretty simple installation. As far as bolting the motor on, I elected to put the motor in the vertical position going upward, with the gearbox going in this orientation, so I could get my 2 bolts that go through here and bolt right through the flat stock that I made. There is a mounting hole on the other side here, but I chose not to use that. The way I've got this, the rigidity that I have, it doesn't move hardly any, and it's a pretty solid mount. I don't think I need anything on the other side. I did have a little bit of an issue here. I should have made the bracket a little longer so it goes out at least 1 inch further. As you can see, as a result of making it a little on the short side, number one, when the chute rotates around 90 degrees in this direction, it hits the motor up here. So really not an issue because I don't move the chute around much further than that anyway, but long-term solution is to just cut this make this bracket fabricated about 1 inch longer. Interim solution here, I just put some nylon spacers in here to move the motor out a little bit. So once the bracket's made and mounted, I mounted the motor on here, of course with the spacers. I took 7/16 bolt, put it down through, right through the middle of the drive motor, the mechanism. Drilled a hole down in the bottom of the bolt here. It pretty much bottoms out in here, but I drilled a hole to match where the old universal shaft went in. I also drilled another hole right here, as you can see, and just put a pin in here. I could have put another bolt in like this one, but I just chose to just do a quick pin. And left the bolt head on the motor, on the bolt. It's works pretty well. That's pretty much the mechanics of this. Again, it works slick. It rotates well. The electrical side of it, I just came out of the top of the motor with the pigtails spliced on a couple cable wires. Took the wires forward, put the plastic sheathing on for protection, went forward on the tractor and up into the corner of the right side. The Kubota has a hot wire over there that you can use for accessories. I used it originally and still do for my backup LED up here on the roll bar, but I'm also using it for this motor. I'll just show you quickly inside what we've done. I just mounted a metal plate on the side of the fender here. This toggle switch here is for my light switch on the top. This double pole, double throw switch here is for the motor. So basically you just move it one way to rotate the chute one way, clockwise or counterclockwise, rotate it, push it the other way to rotate it the other way. Like I said, this is on the same circuit as my light. The motor does draw a fair amount of current, and as a result, the LED light dims just slightly when I turn the motor on. Long term, I think if it becomes a problem, I'm just going to run a dedicated hot wire right back from the battery with a fuse in it, and increase the wire size a little bit. But short term, it works well, and I don't think it's going to be a problem. So there you have it. It's my installation. Works great. I also thought about putting a linear actuator on the chute to raise and lower that, but I don't move it too much anyway, so I just get out of the cab and move it up and down as I need to. So this setup should work on any snowblower that's made by Rad Manufacturing in Canada. They make the Kubota. They make this SB1164 Frontier, and they make one or two others. So should work, and it could be adapted to just about any snowblower. So again, it works pretty slick. The only issue is moving it forward a little bit, maybe making my bracket a little larger. But there you have it. So hope you find this useful. Thanks.